Athabascan Indians live in the interior of Alaska in ecosystems that are mostly lowland and bottomland spruce forests and mountain areas with alpine tundra. There are 11 different groups of Athabascan Indians living in Alaska, each having their own distinct language. Two of these groups, the Gwich'in and Han, extend into Canada. The red areas shown on the map of Canada and the United States are Indians that are related to the Athabascan. They have relatives clear down into New Mexico. They are the Apache and Navajo. In their land of alpine tundra and lowland and bottomland spruce forests, the Athabascan Indians' food sources were, and still are today, primarily animals and fish from these ecosystems, such as caribou, moose, bear, and small game. The Athabascans traditionally lived in small groups of 20 to 40 people that moved systematically through their resource territories. Annual summer fish camps for the entire family and winter villages served as base camps. Athabascan Indians are known to be the world's best snowshoe makers. Snowshoes were their only means of transportation in winter, and without them, people could not have survived. A woman is seen here wearing snowshoes as she works setting muskrat traps. The Athabascan Indians primarily used dogs as pack animals year-round in the interior regions of Alaska. The concept of using dogs in teams was introduced later. Even after dog teams were introduced, the Indians often had to run ahead of them on snowshoes to break trail. Eskimos along the coastal areas did have dog teams before contact with Western culture. Canoes were made of birch bark, covering a frame of birch or spruce. After contact, small one-person canoes were often made with birch frames and covered with canvas. They were ideal for fishing and hunting small game and waterfowl. These types of canoes are still used today. In their small villages, the main access in winter is by airplane. There were no modern conveniences until the late 1970s. Many still lived in log cabins with sod roofs, without electricity or telephones. Firewood was the only source of heat and is still used extensively in most villages today. One of the few ways to earn cash in the villages was by the trapping and selling of furs. The cash was used to purchase guns, traps, clothing, and food to supplement what they had harvested from the land. The introduction of snow machines into bush Alaska in the 1960s brought the villages into a partial cash economy, and dog teams were primarily used for races in the villages, with some of the teams participating in the North American Sled Dog Championship races in Fairbanks each spring. Today, a few people still trap, but it is no longer the primary means to obtain cash. With a great reduction in the fur prices, many furs are used by the women of the village to make value-added products such as hats, mitts, parka ruffs, and other items to be worn or sold. Another craft that is sold is Athabascan beadwork, which is very distinctive with its floral designs. Reproducing the designs and colors of flowers is a way their beauty can be enjoyed year-round. Salmon has always been a primary food source for Athabascans living along the major rivers. Summer fish camps were set up with fish wheels turning in the river that scooped up fish. The salmon would slide down a trough into a wooden box on the side where the fishermen could pick them up. Still today, fish camps are the Athabascans' most popular traditional subsistence activity. Salmon is cut and dried for year-round consumption for both the people and their dogs. Prior to the era of snow machines, salmon was the primary source of dog food for winter transportation. In smaller rivers, fish nets are still put in to catch salmon and whitefish, which are also cut and dried to be saved for winter use. The majority of meat that is consumed by villagers is still from subsistence hunting of moose, caribou, and small animals. Athabascans are accustomed to eating their native foods, and without them, they can have a sense of loss of well-being. In winter, temperatures often drop to 40 below, and sometimes as low as -60. Wood is still the main source of heat, and cutting and hauling wood is one of winter's biggest jobs. Other everyday work has to be completed in the short day light hours. Still today during the holiday season, with the long nights, fiddle dances are held in many villages. They are also held year-round for special celebrations, and villagers dance square dance, Virginia reels, jigs, and many other dances. The early fur traders and miners introduced fiddles to the Athabascans. The Indians created their own style of fiddle music and dances that have become a part of Athabascan culture. The Athabascan Fiddling Festival is held in Fairbanks each November, with fiddlers from all over Alaska and even some from Canada attending. Several days and nights are filled with fiddling and dancing. Limited, which is owned by the Athabascan Indians, is one of the 12 land-based profit corporations created as a result of the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, or ANCSA, which was approved by Congress in 1971. Doyon, which means chief or leader in the Athabascan language, encompasses 12.5 million acres and 42 villages within the vast interior region of Alaska. The villages of Venati and Arctic Village chose not to become a part of Doyon and retained 1.5 million acres of tribal lands governed by the native village tribal government. Doyon is the largest landowner in Alaska and one of the largest private landowners in the United States. Doyon has approximately 14,000 native shareholders. Doyan's corporate headquarters are located in Fairbanks, on the banks of the beautiful Chena River. There is now electricity in the Athabascan villages, but no plumbing in most, as it is problematic and cost prohibitive to install and maintain in Arctic conditions. There is also telephones and television that are provided by satellite. Though there are no road systems connected to most villages, there are a few trucks and many ATVs. There are snow machines in winter and motorboats in fall and summer for fishing, hunting, and travel. Today, many Athabascan Indians enjoy the best of two worlds, living with modern conveniences and still being able to participate in a partial subsistence way of life that is similar to the traditional life of their ancestors.